Very welcome to Aktiespararna's session with Ascelia Pharma today. It is my great pleasure to welcome the CEO of Ascelia Pharma, Magnus Corfitzen, CEO since 1914, who will be presenting the most recent developments within the company. Please, Magnus, let us know more about Ascelia.
Thank you, Sten. Ascelia Pharma is dedicated to help people living with rare cancer conditions or so-called orphan oncology conditions. So we do that by developing new drugs that can help these people to live better lives, help the doctors treat them in better ways. We have 2 drugs in clinical development. Our lead program is Mangoral. It's a novel diagnostic drug used in imaging procedures when the doctors need to create an image using a scanner to understand whether cancer is present in the liver, either originating in the liver or it has spread from other organs to the liver. We've completed 6 clinical studies, and right now we are doing a global phase 3 study. This study, if successful, we believe will be sufficient for getting regulatory approval, in particular in US and Europe, where it will be for the benefit of thousands of patients. The market opportunity is $500 to $600 million in US, Europe, and Japan combined, with US being the biggest individual market. The study is ongoing, and we expect to have the results from the clinical trial, complete the clinical trial in the second half of this year. And then the launch is expected at the end of next year, Q4 22 or first half 23, depending on the exact timeline of the regulatory approval process and the completion of the clinical study. Today, these patients have nothing that is safe and effective for this procedure, and therefore Mangoral we believe will be the gold standard, the standard of care in these patients after approval, and we will make a very significant improvement in their lives. The other program we have is Oncoral. Oncoral is a tablet formulation of irinotecan, a very potent chemotherapeutic drug, or cellgift in Swedish. By giving it as a tablet, the patient can take it every day, and getting the drug every day in smaller doses compared to one very significant dose every 3rd week, which is the standard today, is a significant advantage. We think this advantage will lead not only to, you could say, convenience, but most importantly, better treatment effect, better tumor response, and a better safety profile for the patient. We will now be starting towards the end of the year, we'll be starting the phase 2 clinical trial, and are looking very much forward to that and doing a lot of preparations to do this. So this was a good overview of Ascelia Pharma. So happy to take any questions, Dan.
Okay, yes, I'm curious. The active ingredient in Oncoral, irinotecan, it's a major component in cancer care nowadays and was launched long ago. Now, there has been some other attempts trying to formulate a tablet version of irinotecan for obvious reasons, as you yourself are mentioning. Please let us understand why you feel more optimistic about your possibilities to formulate a tablet than many other, which has not been that successful.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're pointing to the right issue. So the thing is, it is very complicated to formulate a tablet and make sure that you would say the small amount of active drug substance gets into the bloodstream and starts to behave as an active drug. What we have done with Oncoral is we have a patent formulation that is gastric resistant, which means that when the tablet goes into the stomach, it will not be harmed because the surface of the tablet will protect it from the acids in the stomach. When the tablet then progresses to the small intestine, in the beginning of the gastric tract there, the surface will dissolve and the active irinotecan molecule will be released. We have then done some formulation tricks that will increase this free manganese, if you will, that will get absorbed into the bloodstream, go by the vena porta to the liver, and then into the overall blood circulation. So there we've used some formulation tricks and techniques that have been instrumental in securing the absorption. Then, to prove that this is not only a good idea, we have conducted a phase 1A and a phase 1B in patients, where they have been given daily doses of Oncoral over an extended period of time, and we have measured the blood levels in these patients for both irinotecan, but more importantly for SN38, which is a metabolite, which is the cancer anti-cancer molecule. And when we measure that, we see that we get a very good absorption, and we get a good and low variability in the amount of SN38, which is the appropriate measure. So we can show not only that we can formulate it as a tablet, it will be released in the small intestine, it will be taken up into the bloodstream, but also the variability is low. And that is very important because irinotecan is a very potent molecule. So if one patient gets a very, very high amount, that's not a good thing. If they're getting nothing, then that's not a good thing either. But the variability with our formulation has shown to be very, very strong and very good.
Okay, very interesting. So an enteric coating technology which you are making use of. So if you allow me to further dig into the details, I think also if you could help us understand how much work you need to put into the dosing of your new formulation initially. It will obviously be a very different dosing from the currently used formulations of irinotecan.
Yeah, absolutely right. So what happens today with the current used versions is that the patient will go to the hospital every 3 weeks. They will sit in an infusion chair. They will have a needle and a line going straight into the bloodstream, and they will be dosed for 90 minutes, 120 minutes or so, and get a massive dose all at once. So that's a very big dose, and when you measure the blood levels, it will go very high. Obviously, when you have a lot of drug, a very potent drug in the bloodstream, that will create a lot of side effects, and that is also what is documented in the package insert and the experiences of people taking the drug. What we have seen in our phase 1 studies is that when patients take the tablets, they get a much smaller dose, but they get it every day. So we spread out you could say, the dosing over a longer period of time, where it looks like that you could say the safety, the side effects are less severe. We still see, because we dose up to you could say toxic levels, so we understand what kind of therapeutic window we have, but we still see side effects. We see the same type of side effects, which is good because we're not introducing new side effects, but we see them as being less severe. In particular, something called neutropenia, which is the word for a reduction of white blood cells. So, as you know, in the blood we have red and white blood cells. The white blood cells are involved in the immune system. So if you reduce the white blood cells, which is neutropenia, the patient will be at risk for serious infections. So you don't want that, not in anybody, and certainly not in a fragile cancer patient. That is one of the well-known and a very challenging side effects with irinotecan today, as it's given every 3rd week in a big dose. What we demonstrated in our studies was that by giving irinotecan on a daily basis, it had a much, much lower impact on the neutropenia. So we were not harming the white blood cells in the same way. We think that's a very important differentiator and something that will be very valuable for patients.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds interesting to me. Okay, and let me just to round off that obviously a lot of people are very curious about your main program, Mangoral, and its phase 3 study. I see a lot of centers joining the study, and just to let us know more about when you expect the last patient to be treated in this study.
Yeah, so the last patient is in line with what we've communicated previously. That will be in the second half of this year. So we are, as planned, continuing to involve new hospitals, and we are very pleased and also very humbled that some of the best medical institutions are participating in US and Europe and Latin America. So some of the leading liver radiologists are participating here, which is to us a strong testament to the unmet need for these patients today, and the belief that Mangoral will be a better option for them in the future.
Thank you very much, Magnus. Thank you very much. I think that concludes all my questions, and the scope for today's interview with Magnus Corfitzen, CEO of Ascelia Pharma. Hope to hear more from you very soon.
Yeah, look forward to catching up, Sten. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.